Welcome to Leopard Farm. On my way home to visit my family, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness looking out at my family's rice fields. What used to be a sea of golden, ripe rice, ready for harvest, has now been torn apart and trampled into mud. Wild boars have wreaked havoc like a destructive force of nature, wiping out months of hard work. That's why we hunt them, not only to protect my family's crops, but also to protect the livelihoods of everyone in our small village who has toiled and sweated on these fields. Precisely at 6 a.m., the automatic feeder started, dumping a pile of corn onto the road. The sharp clicking sound and the sweet aroma of fresh grain never disappointed. It was like a bell signaling mealtime for the wild. Sure enough, just a few minutes later, a huge figure emerged from the trees and ambled straight toward its prey. The moment the enormous animal lowered its head to eat, completely oblivious to its surroundings, I knew it was time.
Good.
I gently raised my gun, aimed at its weak point, took a deep breath, and pulled the trigger. The gunshot ripped through the quiet morning air, and the animal fell instantly. One shot, one prey. The hunt officially began. Less than an hour later, screamed over the radio. He'd scored too. Soon after, more shots echoed through the valleys like thunder, each a solid step toward restoring balance to the forest. Everything was going smoothly, exactly as planned. As the sun rose higher, we ventured deeper into the woods, establishing positions at points with unobstructed firing ranges. Based on years of hunting experience in this area, I chose an ideal spot, tucked behind a dense oak tree, downwind, overlooking a small clearing that formed a perfect path. Soon, a herd of wild boars came into view. I remained calm, controlled my breathing, and waited until the largest one entered my sight. A gentle squeeze of the trigger, and the bullet had done its job. The remaining ones panicked and fled, but it was over. Quick, efficient. The rustling of leaves and snorting echoed from ahead, typical signs of wild boars foraging for food. So engrossed in their search that they hadn't noticed us. I aimed at the largest wild boar, probably the leader, took a deep breath, and pulled the trigger. A single, accurate shot, and the imminent... That moment was the reward for years of disciplined training and countless hunts in the wilderness. Ethan's voice crackled over the radio, calling for reinforcements, so we advanced to join him. When we reached the top of the hill, we saw them, a whole herd of wild boars, from the large adults to the smaller ones, all busy feeding. The plan was simple: target the lead boars first to break the herd's cohesion. I kept my composure, loaded my gun gently. The bullet hit its mark, taking down the lead boar. One by one, the others fell as we carefully chose our targets. After eliminating the main threats, we finally breathed a sigh of relief, though we all knew the job wasn't over. As the sun set below the horizon, the ideal time for these animals to become active, we quietly returned to our position near the feeding trough. The wild boars were completely unaware they were heading straight into our trap. I aimed at the largest one in the herd and pulled the trigger. It fell neatly to the ground, a perfect and satisfying end to a long, tense day in the fields. Welcome to Leopard Farm, where the real drama isn't just the battle between predator and prey on some glossy wildlife TV show. The toughest battles are between humans and the animals that live with them. The farmers and villagers never wanted this war. When drought kills your corn crop and a leopard tears apart your best cow before sunrise, you're left staring at an empty stomach and a depleted bank account. Revenge isn't cruel. It's the last card you have to play. Survival doesn't come with a rulebook, and it certainly doesn't care about emotion. And when we're talking about a lion, we're not talking about killing a wild dog. Hunting big cats in Africa is a different matter entirely. In places like South Africa's Limpopo savanna or Tanzania's wild frontier, you can't just put your money on the counter, grab your tag, and head out as if it were the opening day of deer season back home. This is risky, tightly managed, and costly hunting, because a mistake doesn't just cost you the hunt. It can cost you everything.
Another one.
Lion hunting isn't something you decide to do on a weekend. You have to work for the privilege. You're talking years of application, expensive permits, and strict regulations enforced by strict wildlife agencies. Step even a step outside the law, and you'll face hefty fines or jail time. This isn't a hobby. It's a calculated, high-stakes encounter with one of the planet's most efficient killers.
Good shot. Take him. Okay, good. Okay. Hold on.
You'll never face a lion alone, and there's a good reason for that. Regulations require at least 3 experienced hunters because it takes just 10 seconds, 400 pounds of muscle and fangs to sprint 50 yards and turn things upside down. If you let your guard down for even a moment, that roar, a thunderous, chest-shaking roar, will remind you exactly who owns this African land. On the scorching Zimbabwean savanna, where temperatures regularly exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit 38 degrees Celsius, and shade is a cruel rumor, lions disappear into the golden grass as if they had never existed. Every broken branch, every hot wind that stirs up dust is meaningless, or it could be the last warning you receive. One hesitation, one false step, and hunter becomes prey in the blink of an eye.
Take it there. Yep. Okay, shoot him. Reload.
Only a handful of hunters are granted the privilege of coming face to face with a full-grown lion in the African jungle, men and women who have spent years studying the terrain, the wind, the tracks, and the animal itself until they can almost read a lion's mind. When that moment finally arrives and you stare into those glowing yellow eyes just a few meters away, you know you're not looking at a trophy. You're looking at the undisputed king of the wild. And yes, a lion hunt can bring in $70,000 or more for the local economy and conservation system. Every dollar of that goes toward funding anti-poaching patrols, habitat protection, community projects, and the harsh reality that keeping lions alive is often more profitable than letting them disappear. If you're the kind of hunter I'm talking about, you didn't learn this way of life last week. You've got 10, 15, 20 years of dust on your boots and scars on your soul. You know exactly what that slow or springy snarl means. The difference between a lazy snarl and a deep chest-shaking roar that says, "This is my territory." You can sense a big male lion's next move before he does. This isn't about pulling the trigger and going home the story. This is about playing a decisive role in saving an icon that, if left unchecked through responsible hunting, often ends up poisoned, trapped, or shot by someone who gets nothing out of it and doesn't care about tomorrow. Ethical lion hunting isn't about taking from Africa. It's one of the last ways to keep Africa wild. That rifle has proven its worth since 2004 in a land that tries to kill you before the lions even show up. Powdery sand drags under your boots like wet cement. Flashes flicker all day long, blinding you when they strike. The bush is so thick and dense it feels alive, muffling sound and hiding death until teeth and claws are already bare to your side. This land gives nothing away. Out there, you don't get second chances or do-overs. You walk in unannounced, and a lifetime of hard-earned knowledge is running through your head. It's the thin line that keeps you breathing. It's the difference between the story you tell around the fire and the story someone else has to tell about you.
Imagine a quiet morning in Johannesburg. The sun rises over golden rooftops, the air is calm, and the streets hum softly with the rhythm of daily life. But in the blink of an eye, peace turns into pandemonium